1 week season.
OWS fam, Sharp Football Analysis Nation. Welcome back to Searching for Ceiling. This, the Week 16 edition. We are getting up there. Just talking to Rich. We'll go ahead and throw it out there now. We are going to move ahead as planned for Week 17. More to come on Week 18. Still working out what we are going to do with that wonky Saturday, Sunday nonsense going on in Week 18. But you will see us not only this week, but next week, as planned, per scheduled for Week 17. Without further ado, we'll bring him right in. Rich, we have a crazy Week 16 slate. We've got Gardner Minshew, we've got Quinn Ewers, we've got all kinds of fun stuff. We've got the Bucs and the Panthers playing for first place in the division. We've got the Chargers taking on the Cowboys. We've got the Bengals taking on the Dolphins. We have a playoff game out of the AFC with massive implications. Well, I shouldn't say playoff game, but a game with massive playoff implications with the Jaguars and the Broncos. We've got Bijan Robinson against Trey McBride and Jacoby Brissett. Dude, this slate, and I didn't even get to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Lions. Yeah. Like, we've got a lot going on this week, man. First, how we doing? Second, what do you think about this slate, dude?
Yeah. Happy early holidays to everyone. By the time you see us next time, we Christmas and whatever you celebrate will have already passed. But yeah, this slate is wild, and it's been a wild week of already just the calibrating for all the injury news and all the player movement, benchings. It's been a whole week of calibration, and we'll see what happens the rest of today too, right? Like, we're still waiting on officially, is Drake London gonna play? Is Marvin Harrison gonna play? Yeah, we assume Rashee Rice, but it's there's just so much stuff that's happened since last Sunday, and it just feels like so much stuff we're waiting to happen on Friday. But the slate is absolutely wild. I'm very curious to get your comment to talk to you about this slate in general. I need your help finding some cheap running backs, man.
Yes, I kind of want to start the show off with one. I was going to save him for
all right, man, yeah.
But let's go to the Dallas and Chargers game. There might just be something here hidden in plain sight, I think. We'll see. But let's look at the Chargers backfield. We know their opponent in the Dallas Cowboys, they're giving up explosives on the ground, third highest explosive run rate allowed. But then we're kind of faced with this wonky, split backfield-esque situation over with the Chargers. I posed the question, what if? We've seen Omarion Hampton be held to 36% of the offensive snaps or fewer in each of his 2 games back from injury. That said, he's seen a touch on 66% of his snaps. Mm-hmm. The dude is seeing some work when he's on the field, right? So what if that snap rate improves? What if we actually, and it's very clear to me that this team views Omarion Hampton as their RB1, right? We're seeing Kamani Vidal play a lot of empty snaps. We're seeing him kind of pass protection stuff, right? So what if the Chargers control this game? What if Omarion Hampton actually sees 35 offensive snaps instead of 24, 26 that he had seen the first couple of weeks? What if his 66% touch to snap ratio kind of holds because they want him on the field? He's got a 7.4% explosive run rate. He's got the better efficiency. He's averaging over 5 yards per carry behind man gap concepts. The Cowboys are giving up production against man gap. What if Omarion Hampton is right there in plain sight for us?
Well, what if Quentin Williams doesn't play?
Right.
We'll have to find out that today and see what happens. I know he was practicing yesterday, but he's in concussion protocol, and they played on Sunday night. So we'll see if he clears, within a week. Not many players have been clearing in a week. So that's definitely just one to follow. But obviously he is the whole reason Dallas has kind of turned this thing around the past, month, his addition. So if he's going to be out, this basically goes back to similar defense than they were before they got him, that we were just flooding at both levels. It's interesting because since they acquired Quinn Williams, it just made teams attack their secondary more.
Yeah.
It made them worse. It's funny. We have a few teams like that just have terrible secondaries. And because they're so good against the run, it's getting exploited to a greater degree. The Detroit Lions, the Titans, the Detroit Lions all being ones. So if Quinn Williams is out. This just goes back to being a defense we can plug in basically anyone you want against. So I don't mind it. Shout, he's out touched Vidal 6-1 in the red zone. We said like the high value touches have still been there for him. 3-1 inside the 10-yard line when they've gotten down there the past 2 weeks too. So if there are going to be touchdowns scored by this backfield, I do believe there is still pretty strong signal it will be from Hampton.
Yeah, we've got both offensive tackles still out, obviously, for the Chargers. We've got some wide receiver injuries. Quentin Johnston and Trey Harris are a little bit banged up. I would expect them to play. Again, we'll have to see what happens this today. I would expect them to play, but they are both banged up. Quentin Johnston obviously missed last week. I believe it was a groin injury with him. Yeah, so like it's kind of like all lining up. Vegas is seeing this game as a competitive shootout. I posed the question, like, is Dak going to be able to move the football efficiently against this, number 2 overall defense? We don't know the answer to that, but like there are paths, I think, to the Chargers controlling this game. I believe they're 2-point dogs on the road, something like that. They're 2-point dogs on the road here in Jerry World. But yeah, if the Chargers are able to control this game, and it also comes down to like the Chargers started the season, the first 7 weeks of the year, they were number 1 in pass rate over expectation. They were coming out, they were throwing the football around. What have they done since week 8 since week 8, they are 15th in pass rate over expectation. They have negative pass rate over expectation in all 3 games since their week 12 bye. This is a different team. They're still obviously trying to figure stuff out. We talk about like identity and how these teams want to try and win games. That has changed multiple times for the Chargers this season. And I think they might be in this, like, pushing towards the playoffs. We're going to continue to figure stuff out. Let's see if we can establish this run game. I think that's kind of where they're at identity wise. So I think Omarion Hampton is a very, very interesting click here at only 5,800 on DraftKings.
I mean, this game in general, there's volatility in this game because we have, since the Jolt injury, that the Chargers have not only been pass heavy, they've been pretty inefficient too. You've got, their defense too has been so good, it's allowed them to survive that way.
Yeah.
But we've also got a game in Dallas, right? Like there's potential for these, but you never want to ignore the games in Dallas. There's always potential for those to be good. You've got 2 competent quarterbacks that if they are hot and on their games, it drives the game environment too. And then you kind of have the potential of like, if Quinn Williams were to miss, or even if he plays, it just pushes them to even maybe throw the ball more too. So there are stacking opportunities, I think, in this game, depending how you play it. Obviously, the Cowboys are never cheap to stack, but Ladd McConkey is at an affordable price too. Obviously, you got Herbert. So like Herbert, McConkey, you've got Hampton involved. You bring back either your favorite Dallas guy or, probably CeeDee Lamb. But there are opportunities still for this game, I think, to be high scoring and competitive. It just is more volatile than it would have been if these teams would play in like week 4 and we would have been on it.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, we also have CeeDee Lamb, who's dealing with an illness, did not practice either practices Wednesday or Thursday. I would expect him to be out there come Sunday, but it is notable that he is under the weather. I'll tell you what, if it's anything like the flu that my kids got, like, Godspeed, sir. It's been a rough one, man. That flu A this year is biting hard. So a lot of uncertainty, but I think Omarion Hampton is very, very interesting piece to kind of play as a one-off or in a game stack, as you mentioned. Probably stack him up with some Dallas pass catchers, skinnies with Dak. You kind of name it here. Pick your poison. Okay. This is an interesting shout. Let's talk about this real quick. Just give you my take on the Aaron Jones stuff. Seeing like 15% of the usage inside the 5 in games that Jordan Mason and both of them were on the field. So yes, like we look at the advanced metrics stuff, we kind of want to pick out the explosives against this Giants run defense. It's actually like Jordan Mason that is slightly edging Aaron Jones in explosive runs this season. You add in like the stuff that Aaron Jones can do through the air, and that kind of offsets that a bit. I'm a little bit more excited. All that to say, I'm a little bit more excited to take the low ownership on a guy like Omarion Hampton than I am to go to Aaron Jones this week. What's your take on that?
Yeah, Aaron Jones is a guy that I thought earlier on would look like he would pop, but so this happened last year too. This is the whole reason they got Jordan Mason is last year the depth of the Minnesota backfield was a problem, and it forced Aaron Jones to take on a larger workload than was probably intended. He actually had his largest workload of his career, and he got the back half of the year, he was just banged up and ineffective. This year, they started to put more on Aaron Jones's plate after he came back, and then he got nicked up again.
Yeah.
And they've kind of like retreated on that a little bit now. And the last 2 weeks, it's been more of a tighter split between he and Mason, and then Mason's played a little bit better. I think cumulatively, this Minnesota run game is going to be very good on Sunday. Diagnosing the split and then, who gets the touchdowns is kind of like the little bit of a whack-a-mole game. And he's always priced in like that middle kind of nebulous range too. So tournament worthy score, I think, is a little tougher. I think he'll be fine. I think he's also like fine figuring season long stuff too, but I think his price and the split makes it a little tougher to say like in tournaments, I'm like extremely bullish on him.
Yeah. I could talk about the Vikings for an hour just because I have been like hypercritical of Kevin O'Connell and JJ McCarthy pairing.
You got 6K Justin Jefferson.
Yes, like we could talk about them for an hour. I don't want to eat up the majority of the show doing so. I will summarize it by saying Kevin O'Connell and JJ McCarthy were not working together as a tandem for the first 14 weeks of the season. 13 weeks of the season. That has changed over the last 2 weeks. And it kind of was sparked when Aaron Jones hit that presser and he's like, JJ McCarthy's not doing the things that Kevin O'Connell needs him to do. That's probably going to change. And it did. They simplified things. And they made it. I think the quote from Kevin O'Connell was like, I want him to be able to go out and play football. And that's kind of what we've seen. So the structure of that offense is very different. Who does that benefit most? Could be nobody. If it's going to benefit anybody, it's probably the backfield and Justin Jefferson. So we'll see how that.
I think part of the reason why they found the success these past weeks, not only because of the defense they played, and they do get another favorable one this week, is they've actually shifted away from just either, trying to just feed Justin Jefferson for a stretch and acclimate like his happiness to a degree, and just having JJ McCarthy play like complimentary football, kind of like he did in college. And like you started to see it just kind of get spread around to everyone. Like we've seen Josh Oliver get involved in the offense a little bit. You've seen Jalen Naylor get involved in the offense. Like I said, both the backfield to split, like to put some extra numbers to that, when I was talking about Aaron Jones, like Aaron Jones hasn't had more than 60% of the backfield touches in a game since week 11. So we've seen a little bit more Jordan Mason. We've seen Justin Jefferson's target share kind of, not like consistently be at like the 30 to 35% range. And it's made McCarthy a little bit better. So I think it's like the Vikings, when I look at the Vikings in totality in this game, I still see like a sum of parts offense instead of just saying like there's an eruption for one guy.
And we also have the great equalizer that gives every Minnesota game a completely wide range of outcomes, and that's Brian Flores. We saw it 2 weeks ago. They've been
on their bag, dude.
Yeah,
Defense
we saw it
awesome.
2 weeks ago. They completely stomped the Commanders. Last week they give up 26 points to the Cowboys. It can go, and that's a week after getting shut out and losing 26-0. So like, it just can go so many different ways just because of who Brian Flores is, how opponent specific he is in his game plan. Obviously that comes within the structure of he's going to be a 2-high blitz team. They're going to blitz the hell out of you. And we look at Jackson Dart, how that influences him, man. When he is under pressure, he is not a great quarterback. So he is effectively just chucking it deep and praying, like 38% completion rate when when under pressure this season. That's not good, Bob. So that could also influence kind of the trajectory of this game. So just a wide range of outcomes. Brian Flores. Also, I mean, we look at Jackson Dart. He has a 22% scramble rate when pressured. So it's just like, again, I don't know how to diagnose this game. Could go so many different ways, man. Does Dart throw picks when he's under pressure, or does he scramble for 40 yards? Like, could go either way
take
here.
Some sacks too,
he will.
He's a high pressure sack rate. That's kind of I wrote. The Vikings haven't even allowed a passing touchdown since week 10. Like they've been awesome. Especially the past 7 games, they're 5th in completion rate, 10th in yards per pass attempt allowed, lowest touchdown rate, like I said, because they don't giving up on
0.
But it's like, man, like Brian Flores has been keeping that thing together here.
All right, man. I want to talk about this Bengals and Dolphins game.
Oh yeah.
We have a Dolphins team that is just running the football. I mean, they've had to. I have been hypercritical again. I talked about Kevin O'Connell. I've been hypercritical about Tua Tagovailoa. Now the team is kind of making their stance. The question was over the second half of the season, like, there's probably going to be a change in Miami in 2026. Is it going to be Tua or is it going to be Mike McDaniel? It looks like, at least for now, that it's Mike McDaniel is going to win that. But we'll see. We'll see where this is going. But the team very clearly is telling us that Tua is not going to be the quarterback of their future. Looks like they might be eating the remaining 2 years of his contract. With that said, we have a 7th-round rookie quarterback coming in to face one of the worst defenses in the league for a team that has been hyper-focused on the run. You look at Devon Achan's usage over the last 5-6 weeks, it's like 40% of the available opportunities, 41%, 52%, 44%. The dude is just their offense right now. We know that the Bengals are giving up explosives on the ground. We know that the Dolphins are generating explosives on the ground. Is this just a spot where we just eat Devon Achan?
Yeah, I'm into him. I mean, right now I'm curious to see. It seems like a lot of people are skittish on him. Obviously, we have the previous year, like the Tua on and off stuff, like where this offense has been terrible. But I do think it's a little bit different now because the state of the offense and where it is, the preceding past 2 months with Tua, and then this spot here in general. So I think it is going to be a lot of Devon Achane getting the football in this game. And if you're going to start we'll talk about Quinn Ewers in a second, but Achane in general, so he's 4th in the NFL in rate of outside zone runs. Bengals are 31st. They're allowing almost 6 yards per carry against outside zone this season. They are not only 30th in rushing points allowed to running backs, but they've also had the most receiving points per game to running backs too. So you get the combination. And Ewers is a guy that will throw to the running backs and a lot of stuff near line of scrimmage. Again, Bengals are allowing the most yards for scrimmage in totality to running backs. The Ravens only ran 40 plays last week, and they gave up 198 yards and a touchdown to their backfield last week. Like, this team is giving up production to running backs. I still like it. I'm still very bullish on Achane in this matchup, even with Ewers playing in the in-game environment, because I don't want to overweight splits from like other seasons and remove them from context of this individual matchup, and also what I believe that like Mike McDaniel is going to do in this game compared to when they were bringing in like Tyler Huntley and Mike White and some other dudes from the ghosts of past.
Yeah, and it looks like Devon Achane is going to be the name that gets clicked the least amount of the running
top
backs.
Yeah.
We want to play Jahmyr Gibbs. We want to play Bijan Robinson. Obviously, those guys are in solid spots. Devon Achane is kind of just going under the radar here. I think I prefer him the most of those three, to be honest. Any other thoughts with, like, can we go anywhere else with the Dolphins, or is it just Achane?
I think there's opportunities here. Well, like Ewers a stone man. Like, he's stone man in a game environment that could be good. I am still like interested to see what he brings to the table. So Ewers at one point was tracking to be like a 2nd, 3rd round pick. He has the oblique injury last year, and it kind of forced like Sark to like really kind of bring things in. Only 16% of his passes last year at Texas were without motion, screens, play action. It was the lowest rate in this class. A lot of hand holding, right? 28% of his throws were at or behind the line of scrimmage, the highest rate in this class. What does this offense do?
That
all the same stuff. So this is a team that does, so like Ewers too, like his bugaboo in college was always like, pressure and handling the blitz. We're not getting any of that here.
Yeah.
Like, there's no pressure here. So I don't think he's going to make my pool, but I'm interested to see. I haven't tried to build lineups around this game, but he's stone man. I think that this would be a matchup to where like you might be able to coax some production out of him. So I think if you were into Waller before at his price, especially with this matchup, I think he's still in play. I'm probably not gonna play Waddle though, because I'm worried about the pass rate over expectation regardless in this game. Like we talked about, it's why we would both probably be into Achane, but I think you could do something like Ewers, Achane plus Waller too, though. And that gives you you can bring Chase back on the other side. There's opportunities here. I don't want to completely say I'm ruling him out, but because he's stone in, and I don't think it's going to be a complete bust for him to the degree other people do.
Yeah, pretty much like all you see on the Twitter sphere, all you see analysts talking about is like pointing to Ewer's production when he has been on the field. And it's like, what production? He's missing throws. He's off target. If they just like simplify the offense, like you said, like get the ball to Devon Achane in the flat, get the ball to Devon Achane. He plays out wide. He plays in the slot. He plays all over the formation.
And that's what they did with Jaden Blue at Texas. Like that's what Jaden Blue did last year.
Right. So I think you're right here. I hadn't considered Quinn Ewers. I was more so paying attention to a guy that I think we'll talk about a little bit later. But the guy that we're going to talk about a little bit later is playing in a game with a game total of 37 points. Quinn Ewers is here.
And when they benched Tua, this game total dropped 1 point.
Mm-hmm. Because everyone is finally seeing what I've been trying to say. Like this guy isn't it.
Right. And that's so I'm also too, like we can always use the phrase like it can't get worse than it always can. We've done that before. So it can still get worse, but the barometer is so low for like this offense to just be where it was functioning, especially in this individual matchup. Like next week against Todd Bowles, you probably won't have the same take for me. But this individual, like this spot at home against this defense, I really think they're going to be able to play complementary football, which can then coax out better production from it can allow you to do that hand holding element.
What do you make of the other side of this game? Because we have T. Higgins with the 2 concussions in 2 calendar weeks. Again, like he's practiced in a limited fashion this week, but like, why? Like we've seen the Bengals franchise as a franchise do some pretty stupid shit. This would be up there with the stupidity, like risking one of your guys that you have sunk a significant amount of money in. He is one of the cornerstones of your franchise. Risking him getting a 3rd concussion in a 5-week span would be just, it's 4 calendar weeks, really. It's a 5-week NFL window, but it's 4 calendar weeks. Risking that would just be crazy to me. Like, is he going to play? I don't think so, but we've seen them do stupider stuff. All that to say, like, if he is out, we know what we get with Jamar Chase with T. Higgins off the field. Clear 15+ target upside. We talked about that last week. He went out and saw 16 targets. Is he a piece that you're just focused on? Any other players with like the injuries at tight end? Can we go to Mike Gesicki if we see Sample and Noah Fant out? What are we seeing here?
Yeah, it would be, it's interesting because, like you, I mean, just the optics of, why put T. Higgins at risk to have something else happen to him at the end of this season. But he's also been practicing. They did kind of have, religion at the end of last week and said, no. But it's like, are they going to be able to do it 2 weeks in a row?
We'll reel it in, guys.
Yeah, we'll see. But I mean, he has been so vital these past 2 years, though, to Burrow's success. Obviously, it makes sense that he's obviously a good player, but Joe Burrow has been so significantly worse with or not Higgins. Why I came off Burrow last week when Higgins was rolled out. It's like, man, like this, like there's a reason why his best game this year came with him, on the field. He just opens up so much more for this offense. So if he plays, I'm more interested in like adding Burrow, like Burrow Chase stuff. But other than that, I'm more interested just on the Chase side. But this Miami Dolphins pass defense is where we want to attack them, though. I mean, they're a pretty decent run defense. They've been since the middle of the year. Yeah. They had the Hall pass 2 weeks ago. They slowed down Brady Cook. But Monday night, they allow Aaron Rodgers to have his highest completion rate since 2014. The week before that, they gave up 17.5 points to Tyler Shuck. They had allowed a QB1 game to Marcus Mariota. And it makes like, this is still a pass game that's vulnerable. That's why I think this game can still pop and still be good. So even if Achane's running well, because the Miami pass defense is so bad. So right now I'm looking at just the mini of Achane Chase, but then kind of toying at the idea of like, if I do play Ewers, Waller, like what does that get me? What does the rest of my team look like? And I haven't built those teams yet, but it's something I do want to explore and see what it looks like.
I concur, man. You kind of talked me into that a little bit, and that's one of the beauties of this show. I was over here considering Gardner Minshew, so like at 4,600.
I mean, I was. If you want to just lead into that, I thought coming into Monday when I was writing that game, I thought Minshew was going to be the stone lock cash quarterback, and then we had the Rashee Rice like concussion protocol. So, but we can swerve into that too because let's just bridge it over to there.
The reason I was so interested in Gardner Minshew is one of the things we talked about earlier was that the Titans are facing just one of the highest pass rate over expectations because teams are just the highest. So like teams are just saying like, we know we can get like middling efficiency against you on the ground, but we know what we can do against you in the air. They traded away multiple pieces of their secondary in the middle.
They have 2 players left. They have 2 players left in their secondary, the entire secondary, not starters. They have 2 players left they start the season with.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. They've had injuries. They traded away a bunch of players. Like, it's been bad. So, yeah, I look at this team and I was like, do we expect Andy Reid, who this team is eliminated from the postseason for the first time since 2014? It's been over a decade. It's a decade-long streak. That also coincides with a lot of like behind-the-scenes stuff. We have Travis Kelce, who has never been eliminated from the postseason until now. He entered the league in 2015, the start of that streak. We have him. He's getting married in the offseason. He's on the last year of his contract. Do we see him retire? He's chasing some history. He's got 99 yards to go to surpass Jason Witten for number 2 overall on the tight end career receiving list. He's got 203 yards to go in 3 games to hit his 8th 1,000-yard season. I look at Rashee Rice, highly unlikely to play if I had to guess. Right. When you report concussion symptoms on Monday or the day
he's
after
a day behind.
Game, he's a day behind. Yeah. Same thing with Tyquan Thornton. I mean, he hit the turf hard on that concussion. I don't think he's going to play. So we're effectively left with like Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Hollywood Brown. So that was kind of why I was leaning into Gardner Minshew a little bit, is like, we pretty much can say with a high degree of certainty that the Andy Reid is still going to pass at a high elevated pass rate. We pretty much know that Travis Kelce is probably going to operate as the primary cog of the offense through the air. And now you look at like, what did Hollywood Brown do when there were injuries early in the season? He had a 16 target game. Is Juju Smith-Schuster a guy that they are going to emphasize in the offense? Probably not. Is Xavier Worthy going to be are they going to alter his role in this offense? I don't know. So I'm kind of like, you can stack up like Gardner Minshew with Travis Kelce and Hollywood Brown and move on for pretty cheap. How are you seeing that spot?
Yeah, I mean, so with Rice, I was going to be super bullish on this whole situation though with Rice, and then obviously removing him just dampens a little bit, but it does open up a cheaper stack, obviously, because Rice is so expensive compared to Worthy or Hollywood, and then Kelsey's affordable too. But just to put some stuff to the context, you said, I mean, opponents are passing the ball 6.2% over expectations against Tennessee. It's the highest rate in the league. We brought this up last week when we talked about the 49ers passing game stacks versus CMC, even though, CMC was so popular, but the Titans haven't allowed a QB or an RB1 in 8 straight games. They're allowing the lowest yards per carry to running back since week 9. Do you think that the Chiefs down 4 offensive linemen with Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco are going to line up and run the football on this team? There's no way. That's not going to happen. So it's like, we're going to get a lot of dropbacks, but this game could just be slow. Maybe, like you said, it could be low and slow, because we also just don't know if the Chiefs, because we haven't been in this spot, do they say, what if we want to look at Brashard Smith these last 3 games? What if we want to look at Jalen Royals these last 3 games, right? Like, we don't know the answers to these questions. But Worthy is super cheap. Hollywood's super cheap. Kelsey's affordable. Because the Titans have become this pass funnel, since that week 9, that same overlap that I laid out with the running backs, they have allowed 171 yards per game to wide receivers. That's 29th in the NFL. And we're talking about guys too, like Shador Sanders had 30 points against them. Davis Mills had 20 points against them. They're allowing 48.1 PPR points game to wide receivers over that stretch. And also tight ends, 22.4 PPR points game to tight ends, which is 27th in the league over that span. So there is some opportunity here. Like I said, I opened the week like, oh, this is it. Like you kind of like you. And then when Rice got removed, I was like, and then you go into the hood a bit and you're like, all right, so maybe the Chiefs are just going to be boring here, but they're going to have to throw. I think they are going to have a high drop back rate. So I don't want to completely ignore it either. I do have Kelce and Worthy in my pool too. So I might as well just add Minshew. It makes sense if I'm already on those guys.
Yeah, and Minshew, like, all backup quarterbacks are not created equal. Minshew is a guy that has had a chip on his shoulder his entire career, getting his shot to come out and perform for these final 3 games, potential follow-on contract consideration. It kind of all aligns for me outside of the low game total, which is the damper. Are there? And
he supports guys too. Like we've seen last year, when Minshew played after the Devontae Adams trade, he supported Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. In 2023, he supported Michael Pittman. Like this is not like turning it over to a guy and like like granted, like they were already bad with Mahomes, and we can't expect it to get better than that. But I still think that, there's a floor here that's usable, especially in this particular matchup.
Right. And we're talking about Quinn Ewers and Gardner
Yeah.
Minshew. That kind of gives you a feel of the state of the slate at the quarterback position. Like the question number one every week is like, can Super Josh emerge? Can Josh Allen put the slate out of reach? The answer is
we don't have May, we don't have Lamar, we don't have Hurts.
Right.
Obviously don't have Mahomes now.
Right. Even Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, who have like stackability to their games. Because we kind of know the production is likeliest to flow.
I haven't looked at ownership, but I would assume that Goff, Brissett are like that's where it's going right now.
I'd expect this week to be pretty flat at quarterback. I think we want to be paying up for running backs. We want to be paying up for, there's some wide receivers that we want to be paying up for. So that should lead to some flatter ownership at quarterback, which again, like it opens the door to some of these value pieces, value stack options. That's why we're talking about Quinn Ewers. That's why we're talking about Gardner Minshew.
You want to play Bijan Robinson and Devin Achane in the same lineup. Right. That's why I opened the show with. That's why I opened the show with. I was like, where are these cheap running backs this week?
Yeah. And that's why I was messing around with trying to force like lineups with all three of the top running backs, like Devon Achane and Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan. It's possible if you're throwing guys like Quinn Ewers, if you're throwing guys like Gardner Minshew.
Because DraftKings made it tough on the the guys that you would maybe even take some shots on, and we'll see what happens with the Texans backfield today in practice. If Jawar Jordan's involved, but they priced all those guys up. Estime's $5K, Michael Carter's 5.4. Like Estime is cheaper on FanDuel. He's only 4.9 on FanDuel, which you almost never see for a running back to be cheaper there. But like those guys are tough clicks on DraftKings.
Yeah, DraftKings is kind of daring us as far as roster construction. Like you mentioned, they priced up the running backs, and then we have like 6K Justin Jefferson, 5.4 DK Metcalf. It's like, man, you're really daring us here. Let's go to that game now. Mentioned DK Metcalf. Let's talk about the Steelers and the Lions. Is this face up, or are you seeing anything unique here?
Well, I mean, the Lions have become just so concentrated, which is awesome for us as gamers. We love that, the combination of Sam Laporta's injury plus the Dan Campbell play calling. I mean, last week they had 38 targets, and Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown Jr. gives it 35 of them.
Yeah.
Like, we love this. Like, we love it. Now, it's expensive, but we do love that we know where to go with the football. This is another game that Friday practice reports are going to be massive, because if TJ Watt and Nick Herbig are not playing in this game, like this is a problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, these guys are number 1 and number 2 on the team in pressures, number 1 and number 2 on the team in sacks. And if you don't touch Jared Goff, we know the story. Like if you're not going to breathe on Jared Goff, I mean, without pressure series, number 2 in completion rate, number 4 in yards per passing, number 2 in touchdown rate. Like, so if we get to Friday and these guys are ruled out, like, man, that's a big problem for this Pittsburgh defense.
Can you follow on question to that? Can you play multiple of those three? So Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameson Williams without Goff here?
I mean, I would prefer if I always have the two. If I'm going to go always two, I always want the quarterback, because if the second guy's always hitting, it's like, well, the quarterback's definitely hitting. But, you do. I still lean the receivers. They are expensive. I do say, though, the guys on the other side here, there are guys that are affordable. You brought up DK Metcalf, and then we have Kenneth Gainwell, and like Aaron Rodgers never likes anyone, and he loves Kenneth Gainwell. Like, dude, he goes out of his way. I've never seen Aaron Rodgers go out of his way to talk about any player more than Kenneth Gainwell right now.
He's doing the shit that Rodgers likes, man. He is nails in pass pro. He's where he needs to be. He's where Rodgers expects him to be. That's all huge for Rodgers. I mean, that's a reason, like, we look like back in his career, like Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, like, yeah, those guys were solid players on the field, but they did the things that Rodgers always asked of him.
He's the RB5 in target share right now.
To highlight that, there's a reason why Marquez Valdes-Scantling keeps following Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like, he does the like nitty gritty stuff that, like, Alan Lazard. Yeah. Like these players that keep following Rodgers, it's for a reason. Like,
not
Rodgers
Jeff Janis
likes him, man. Yeah, dude, I know. Golly. But yeah,
I think Metcalf and Gainwell facilitate line stacks better than last week, where we had to make a hard choice last week with
Right.
Rams Lions, and luckily I came out on the right side of the golf doubles. But this week you don't have to do that because the Steelers guys are like Metcalf and Gainwell are affordable.
Right. And we talk about a game environment where we're potentially seeing the Pittsburgh Steelers in catch-up mode. Like that kind of boosts.
And Rodgers is
Kenneth
playing
Gainwell a little
good.
bit. Yeah. Yeah, I like it, man. This is a game I think that deserves our attention. That's why we're talking about it here.
Yeah.
Anything else from this spot before we keep this train moving?
No, those would be like the only two like Steelers guys like we're getting cute with it all. And not even getting cute. I think they're pretty solid plays. I think all those mid-rangey running backs, like I think I outright prefer Gainwell to the guys we talked about that we're doing guesswork on, like the Michael Carters and the Saints guys.
Yeah, that's completely valid. I'll finish off this game by saying like I am toying around with like 2 Lions and a Steeler and no quarterback from this game. For the reason that we talked about like earlier, where it's like quarterback position this week is just kind of a guessing game all around. For example, you could do some fun stuff with something like Jahmyr Gibbs plus Jameson Williams plus DK Metcalf and still like have some significant salary to toy around with, like at the other running back position, at your quarterback position, tight end.
I think if you do that, you do it with Gibbs and a receiver, not the 2 receivers.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And just prefer simply Jameson Williams for his cheaper per target upside. And that's also like where the Steelers are giving up the bulk of their production is like in the deep passing game, which kind of leads me a little bit more towards JMO as well in that setup. All right, let's move over to the Falcons and the Cardinals. I think we got to talk about this one, another high game total game. To me, this one is fairly straightforward. I want to hear your thoughts on this spot.
I think Bijan Robinson will be very good in this football game,
and the Cardinals will throw the football. All right,
and the Cardinals are gonna throw the football out. Yeah, I mean, we this is another game where depending on who's active, like just shakes up because we've been the past month we've been able to just so reliably lean on when Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't play, Michael Wilson is going to glom all this opportunity. When Drake London hasn't played, Kyle Pitts has consistently gotten over 25% of team targets. Are those 2 players back this week? How does it shake up the passing tree? How much can we rely on those other players? I mean, when week 13, when Marvin Harrison Jr. came back from his appendectomy, he immediately shadow realmed Michael Wilson.
Yeah,
like
he was the guy immediately.
He was right back in. He had 30% of the targets on his snaps on the field. Michael Wilson only had 13% target share, less than a yard per out run. Does that happen again? It's a very small sample. Do they just throw it back? Has Michael Wilson done enough where they can't rebottle it? These are things we don't know. We know Trey McBride is going to be good still, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is $1,000 cheaper than Michael Wilson. Is he in play? If we believe that. And then, the Drake London stuff with Pitts, how does that impact this game as well? So right now I'm confident in a few things that Jacoby Brissett's going to throw the ball 40 times and Bijan Robinson's going to be really efficient against this Arizona defense. That is just a travesty finishing the season right now in every capacity. Like we brought up Jawar Jordan earlier and it's like, dude, they allowed Jawar Jordan to just come off cold and have a 100-yard rushing game. Like this team is getting absolutely flooded in every avenue.
Yeah, as the Woody Marks drama leaves the game on the first drive, comes back, and then departs for good. Good stuff last week, man. Good
every
stuff.
week.
Yeah, good stuff. Right. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much my takeaways from this game too.
I mean, how are you handling the Michael Carter thing? Is like
not going there.
Okay, I was hoping to get pushback on it. I don't really know.
Yeah. The way that this slate is shaping out, we have to again, look at what the slate is giving us. It's not as simple as saying I will not play Michael Carter because he's on the Cardinals and he's in this matchup. We have to look at the rest of the state of the slate, right? We have the big 3 running backs up top where have clear 35 plus upside in their respective spots. We have guys in the mid-range even that we can go to based on the matchup. Bucky Irving is a potential. Rico Dowdle is a potential. RJ Harvey's probably going to draw some ownership with that lofty game total in a game that is highly important. Tyrone Tracy's coming off of a 2-touchdown game. So there are options in that mid-range too. All of that to say, if I'm going down at running back, it has to be to a player that has 25, 30 plus fantasy point upside. That's what led me to Marion Hampton. Like, there's a lot of guesswork that goes in with that. It's like, if he sees his snap rate improve, if the explosives are hitting, 7% explosive rush rate is pretty solid in that matchup. Like, he has clear 102 upside in that spot, which leads you to 25, 27, 30 fantasy points. So, yeah, Michael Carter does not fit that that bill here for me anyway. Okay, I'll throw it over to you. Any other games that are grabbing your interest here?
Yeah, Bucs-Panthers for sure is on my radar for a couple reasons. Well, one, when we saw the band get back together last week, we saw Josh Grizzard be willing to throw the football a lot and throw it downfield a lot, for better or worse. But still, like, the Buccaneers had their highest pass rate over expectation of the season last week. Baker had his highest air yards per pass attempt. 53% of his throws were 10 or more yards downfield. That was his highest rate this season. So there is kind of some upside spike potential here, especially against a team that also plays a lot of single high in the Panthers. And then the Panthers, we do need Dave Canales to like kind of help us out here. And I don't know if the 49ers game broke him, because it's the one game where he was like willing to like throw the football, and it was probably the game he should have run the football more. And they've come out and just been like really conservative since. But in both games last year against the Buccaneers, the Carolina Panthers did have pass rate over expectations in those games. So there's an opportunity here where this game, especially one that's meaningful, could have a little bit more upside than, Bucs Panthers maybe suggest on the surface, given what we've seen from these teams for the course of the season.
Dude, Mike Evans only needs to average 243 yards per game to hit 1,000. It's still there, right?
So it's on the table here.
Yeah,
it's on the table.
I'm
very into Mike Evans on DraftKings.
Yeah, that price, that salary is highly appealing.
38% first read target share his first game back. Top 10. We expect the snaps to maybe go up. Maybe they don't, because they have 4 guys now in a rotation. But single high. Listen, Mike Evans is getting single high. What's happening?
He's hitting for the perimeter deep shots.
Well, Baker's at least going to give him a shot to win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. Even in his small sample this season, Mike Evans is handily leading the team in all advanced metrics against single high. We talk about why that's important. Like, the Panthers are number 2 in the league in cover 3, which automatically makes them a single high team. Yeah, I'm into Mike Evans as well here. Do you need a piece of the Panthers to spark Evans, or is he a one-off candidate for you?
I do have some mild interest in Jalen Coker here for a couple reasons. One is that the Buccaneers lost Ian McCollum last week, and Jamil Dean has started to follow lead receivers. He hasn't even allowed a touchdown coverage. He probably should have gave up one last week to David Sills, but David Sills kind of got in his own head and like thought about catching that ball. Yeah. But Dean's been excellent. They've been really good to opposing wide receiver ones. They're 10th in yards per target, but they've now have this like hodgepodge of bodies that they're throwing at the position outside of Jamil Dean, and Benjamin Morrison looks like he's going to get to start. They have Jacob Parrish and Kendall Vidor too. So if we do get some more pass rate over expectation here and this game gets a little up tempo, I do think Coker is pretty intriguing at his price. We don't have a lot of receivers in this range because it looks like QJ is going to come back. So like Trey Harris was, I think, going to be popular, and now he won't be as popular. So Coker is kind of the one guy that kind of stands out in that range, but I don't think he's necessary either. Yeah.
Concur there. If you are going to this game, he's a name that to keep in mind. I'll phrase it like that.
Yeah.
All right. We still got some time to hit another game. Is there really anything else that we haven't covered though? I guess let's talk about the Jaguars and the Broncos.
Oh yeah.
How are you? I'll throw it directly to you. Like, how are you seeing this spot against 2 good defenses?
Yeah, trying to figure out some truths, right? Like, we know the Broncos defense is good. I don't know how good the Jaguars is. Mm-hmm. I know it's very good on paper, but I also know that the last 3 weeks they faced Brady, Cook, Riley Leonard, and Cam Ward.
Yes.
They did mush the Chargers the week before that, and they didn't let them up for air. But it so we haven't seen the Chargers be let off with them. Like, they haven't, since the Jolt injury, have been kind of pedestrian anyways. But before that, they had gave up 4 touchdowns to Geno Smith. Davis Mills had 28 fantasy points. Like, as that team still exists somewhere in here, remains to be seen. Bo Nix, obviously very volatile, but I think he's intriguing here to find out, because since the J.K. Dobbins injury, the Broncos have gone extra pass heavy, and he's thrown for 295 or more yards, 3 of his past 4 games. The only team that has a higher pass rate over expectation since the Dobbins injury than the Broncos is the Cardinals. And we know that like why that is. And this has symmetry because it lines up with the Jaguars. Teams don't run against the Jaguars. They have the second highest pass rate over expectation against them because their run D is awesome. So I do think like a Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton here at this price is very, very interesting to kind of explore to see if what is real about this Jaguars defense.
Right. Sutton was a name that popped to me early in the week. Just, like at first.
And Pat Bryant being back helps Sutton.
Right. It allows him to kind of free up a little bit of more motion stuff, more off the line stuff. He is the primary guy that's going to see press man for this team, but it frees him up a little bit. As far as the Jags, what do you make of now like 3 wide receivers that are primary contributors? Brenton Strange still there, Travis Etienne with that massive game last week, the injury to Bashal Tutin. What do you make of this team?
On the surface, I feel like if anyone gets here, it's just like getting there at like respectable floor. It's hard for me to say like there's tournament worthy upside from any of these guys. Lawrence has already played 5 top 10 pass defenses this year, and he's had some like back end QB1 games, but it's just been back end QB1. Like he's just been getting there. So maybe that like in your manager leagues, it does it like you're like, all right, I don't have to stream for him. But like from a tournament stance with his price going up, like how bullish are you on him getting you to that 25 to 30 point game? I actually think Bo Nix has that in his range of outcomes more so than Lawrence. And then the same thing with the receivers. Like even if you get a touchdown from a Jacoby Myers, if you get a touchdown from Brian Thomas, is it still enough here with this defense? So I have a hard time. And the same thing for ETN. Like we know the workload's going to be there, but this is a team that's been very bad at running the football. And I don't know if anyone's noticed it. So like we got lucky with ETN last week. I was overweight on him. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Sometimes we're right for the wrong reasons in this case. Yeah. And Travis Etienne was 100% that last week. I was into him as like they're facing a bad defense. They're massive home favorites. He's going to have rushing efficiency. He did the exact opposite of that. He rushed 12 times for 32 yards, but he had 73 receiving yards, 3 catches, 3 touchdowns. He had 3 receiving touchdowns in his career entering Sunday, and he hadn't gone over 31 receiving yards in a game. Like sometimes you just get lucky. But when you look at how is he going to roll over and have efficiency here, we know volume could be here, but he hasn't run the ball for over 4 yards per carry since the bye once, and it was Arizona. It was the Cardinals because everyone does. Over the past 3 weeks, he's rushed 44 times for 134 yards with a 27% success rate. Yeah, it's rough, man. The last time he faced a front end run defense, the Titans, he was the RB 52 in scoring that week. Now, you're going to get some more volume because Tutin played in that game, but the Broncos are 8th in yards per carry to running backs. And also, the Broncos have allowed the lowest rate of receptions to running backs. 13% of the receptions allowed by them are to running backs, the lowest in the league. The only one running back is more than 3 catches in a game against them season. So, like, even if ETN gets there, like, is he getting there for like? That's where I see the Jaguars. I feel like even if they put up a fight, if they put up a fight game, what they're clearly capable of doing, but I feel like it's more of like a real life. Like it's like, where is the fantasy juice coming from them?
Right. And that's been my struggle with the Jaguars all season is like on paper, on film, this does not look like an offense that should be popping. They just keep scoring 30 points, dude. I don't know how to explain it. They are like my analyst kryptonite this season. I can't like, I try to go to film. I try to go to like the advanced metrics and like, I can't find a reason why this team is performing the way that they are other than saying like they're getting good field position from their defense. And they're like, and like even Trevor Lawrence, he's not playing great football. Like, I don't know what to do, dude. That's why I was hoping you could shed a little bit of light, but it was like,
man. I think there's two things have happened. Well, the one, obviously, since the acquisition of Jacoby Myers and it's shaken up the roles for the receivers, I think they're more in positions where they should have been at, or, you know, and who knows, maybe Travis Hunter would have been playing this role by now, but Jacoby Myers kind of in that Chris Godwin-esque role has made the offense a lot better because you put a player in that role that's just more reliable than Brian Thomas had been playing. Then you also let Brian Thomas just go out there and win with physical traits now.
Yeah.
He's getting now the super high ADOT stuff, and he's not running a lot of routes with nuance. That's been Myers. I think that's helped him. And the other thing, like I said, we're trying to find out some truth here, dude. The past month, this team's played the Cardinals, the Titans, the Colts, and the Jets.
Right.
That's what I said. This is a big, I think, kind of test to see kind of where this offense and defense is. Maybe less so the defense, because you could just get a weird Bo Nix game. That's always in the range of outcomes.
Right.
But particularly this offense, though, I think this is where we're going to get a good barometer of where they are coming off of this really kind of impressive run that they've had this past month.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same, man. I was just trying to find I'm a big causal factors guy. I want to find the truth. What is the reason for this stuff happening? I can't find it with the Jags, man. I seriously
they're not running the ball at all. It's crazy. And it's
and we don't have great quarterback play. So how are they succeeding? It's
like I said, it's been better. But some of it's matchup opponent driven potentially. So
yeah. It's the beauty of a good offensive mind, I think. Liam Cohen.
And Lawrence has always been able to channel spurts of where you're yeah, this is why this guy was supposed to be the next dude.
Right.
And it's the consistency factor. And that's
right.
that's why I want to see it now against Denver, right? I'm cool with Trevor Lawrence putting up 40 on the Jets. All right, now show me it's real.
GG's.
This is a show me it's real spot.
Yeah. I dig it. Any other spots? I think we covered most of them on the slate. Any other spots that we need to talk about here, singular or team-wise? What do we do with the Bills this week? Dalton Kincaid is trending towards an absence. We have 10.5-point road favorites. Is this a spot, obviously, where it's just James Cook or bust with this team, or any pieces we're pulling out here?
My initial thought is to say it's similar to when they played the Panthers, out of their bye. That would be kind of where I see the game kind of going. I think if you're counting on this being a super Josh game, this would be a game environment where it probably isn't, right? He's had 4 top 3 scoring weeks this season. They came in the Bucs game, 44-32 win, Ravens game, 41-40 win, Bengals game, 39-34 win, and the Chiefs game, 28-21 win. His other 2 top 6 scoring weeks came against the Dolphins, 31-21, and then last week's 35-31 win. And the Browns pushing us to this degree.
Yeah, man.
This version of the Browns too, because also we have a rookie quarterback against Sean McDermott, and he's just eating these guys all up.
Yeah, dude. And a lot's been talked about, Shadur Sanders. Oh, the Browns can finally pass downfield. Shadur Sanders is not a great downfield passer. Has not been. They are taking those shots. Go look at Jerry Jeudy's game logs, because he's their primary downfield guy, and tell me that they are a potent downfield offense.
No, he's he's willing to throw downfield more.
He's doing it under pressure, which is hilarious. It's not working. Not working. You look at I believe the number was 61. I have to go check my write-up, but 61% of Shadur Sanders' throws have targeted a receiver within 1 to 9 yards line of scrimmage. Yeah, they want to be passing downfield. Probably not the best spot for that to happen.
You're gonna get a lot of volume still for Fannin though at his cost. Is it sticky for fantasy points? Not potentially, but it's just it's still, when you're talking about dollar per target guys, he still stands out as one of the best guys. He's just getting fed.
25 targets the last 2 games, and we're looking at David Njoku, who has yet to practice all week. Just updated, he was missing practice today as well. Probably
so I would be Cook Fannin, Cook Fannin mini, if you're doing this game.
Yeah. No,
and Cook might go overlooked too on this slate, just because we talked about Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs are going to get jammed in. I would assume gamers have at least one of those guys in every lineup.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair, especially with smaller field stuff.
So James Cook could be another guy that is, potentially gets kind of just shunned because those other 2 guys are just so popular.
Right. He's not going to pop advanced metrics on paper. The Browns are middle of the pack, yards per carry allowed. They're middle of the pack in explosive run rate allowed. But we've seen just what this team does. He has clear paths to 30 plus opportunities here.
And they've been significantly worse as the season's gone on. They had obviously Malik Collins got injured, and it's just hard for a defense to hold up for a whole season in the spots to the degree the Browns have been put in.
Right. Just consistently negative game environments.
Yeah, that's what makes Myles Garrett's season so unreal. It's
right.
I think I saw that he someone did the actual attempts, like the Strahan faced and Watt faced. Let's see the years that they set their record. He's he's tracking to be like 100 lower, like 100 pass rushes below them, because it makes it so unreal.
That is incredible. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude. We've got the hidden hammers again. I gotta get an animation for this for next season, man, for the hidden hammers. But we talked about probably the guy that I was going to mention first off, Omarion Hampton. What else you got as far as hidden hammers go?
I don't think this guy isn't hidden, but just probably a tremendous spot though is Chris Olave. It's wild that we needed a Von Vele injury to kind of open this door.
Right.
But it exists. Vele had out-targeted Chris Olave the past 4 weeks. It was kind of like that stretch dribble when Troy Franklin was just out-targeting Cortland Sutton, and people were like, it's like that. But that had happened with Vele. Like Shuck and Vele clearly had something. But the second Vele left the field Sunday, Olave had a 40% target share and 4 yards per out run. He literally caught a pass on 4 straight plays. The rest of the dudes the Saints are fielding this week, Mason Tipton, Dante Pettis, Kevin Austin, like these guys aren't getting the ball. So against this Jets team, because I think Shuck is in play too, but I just haven't figured out how Shuck is probably more FanDuel than DraftKings. He's more expensive than Brissett on DraftKings. So it's just a way to play it. But that's a way to play through it if you like the Shuck stuff, is him. I'll just ping back to you. Got another one?
I don't. I was just digging while you were talking.
Well, yeah.
You got another one?
I mean, in that same game, I think you can, Adonai Mitchell's still in play. He could be a stone zero still too, but there's another guy that just the volume and types of targets he's getting, and then the matchup is still there for him. You can have that as a mini too as well. But other than that, no, like I'm waiting to see the practice reports for the Houston backfield today. I think that's the last spot I'm kind of interested in to see kind of what shakes out. Because I think even if Chubb is back, and if Chubb's back and there's no Woody Marks, Jawar Jordan still, I think, has intrigue in this spot as a 14-point home favorite against this Raiders team.
Yeah. I'll agree with there.
But I am like you though. My initial thought of building out in the slate is to try to get like Bijan, and like you, I am more interested in Achane, I think, than the field.
Yeah, I am too. The last name I'll mention is probably Hollywood Brown. We talked about him. I brought up the reasons why. He's priced only 3,900. He's going to need volume. He's operating in a near line of scrimmage role, but that volume could be there for him this week. I prefer him if played with Gardner Minshew and Travis Kelce, I think, as opposed to like hunting for a one-off from him. But I do think he is viable for us this week.
Love it.
Sweet, man.
That'll be Quinn Ewers and Gardner Minshew. Baby.
Let's go, baby. Look at us. Who would have thought we would be here? Not me. Sweet, man. That'll do it for week 16. Again, just a quick shout. We will be back normal time next week for week 17, covering the Sunday main slate. Still got some stuff to work out for week 18. Unsure. We've got some travel going on. We got some that weird split slate, but we will get back to you on that next week. We should have a firmer stance there. He is Rich. You can find him over at Sharp Football Analysis. I am Hilow. You can find me over at oneweekseason.com. And until next week, y'all, we'll see you at the top of the leaderboards. Peace.
1 week season.